think it was when my mom and dad started taking me on camping trips when I thought, this is cool. I couldn't wait for summer so my parents would take me on a road trip. And when I was really little, it was Miracle Beach near Courtenay on Vancouver Island. When I was older, it was Porpoise Bay on the Sunshine Coast or the Okanagan Valley. And riding in the back of the car, I got to wondering what the story was behind that collapsing farmhouse. Why was there a road here? And could we stop at that forestry museum on the way back home, Dad? Eventually I started riding, and I got a Yamaha Seika 400 when I was in my 20s. Rode that for a while, rode around Vancouver Island, then got a KLR 650. Rode up Vancouver Island on that. Then I got another KLR 650, rode up north to about Dease Lake on the Stikine River Valley, and then now I have a F650 GS, and I like British Columbia history and the roads that got me to learn about it. This isn't just any road. Oh, no. This is the Old Hedley Road, just east of Princeton. Quite possibly one of the oldest roads in British Columbia. It was part of the Dewdney Trail. So, let's ride the Old Hedley Road, shall we? Now, the Old Hedley Road runs parallel to Highway 3, which is just over that way. This is an old stagecoach road. This is where people used to get along in the late 1850s. Edgar Dewdney, who was with the Royal Engineers, there's somebody I'm going to wave to. Edgar Dewdney, who was commissioned by James Douglas, who was the first governor of British Columbia, now known as the Premier, wanted a road that was going to keep essentially Americans who were pouring over the border in check, because there were so many pouring over the border because of the gold rush that many who came across didn't even realize they'd entered a different country. And of course, in those days, British Columbia was not part of Confederation. Confederation wouldn't happen for another, 9-10 years. And then British Columbia's entry into the Confederation wasn't until 1871. So things were a bit more murky back then in terms of borders. This is the Similkameen River. A great deal of placer mining went on along here. As far as historical roads go, it's a lovely, windy road. In the lovely Similkameen Valley. Stayed at a bed and breakfast. Really nice to stay at bed and breakfast, because you get to talk to people who have lived in this area for their whole lives, and they can give you a sense of what it was like to live here years ago. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Sunlight glinting off the Similkameen. It's called the Old Hedley Road because it links up pretty much with the town of Hedley, which was one of Canada's leading gold mines. The nickel plate mine is legendary in terms of its output. I was thinking that was a horse, but just a big dog. In 1858, when the gold rush began, it just became insanely busy in British Columbia. People just started pouring over the border like crazy. Frantically staking claims, stealing from one another. So I was told to look out for this place. There apparently, here's the cattle grate. There are pictographs here, local First Nations. I suppose I'm not going to see them riding past them this quickly, but apparently that's where they are. Oh, there's one. Going the other way. But I met up with some of my hostess's friends or their neighbors, and we got to talking about all sorts of things. Her neighbor's mother was writing a book about a notorious bank robber from BC's past, and they couldn't say enough about excuse me here. Couldn't say enough about the Princeton Museum. They said it's a lovely place. Staff are very passionate about what they do, and I thought it's always nice to hear about a group of people who are passionate about their heritage, their history. There's Highway 3 down there. The Similkameen just keeps on going and going, doesn't it? It's just cool to think that this was a road that's been around. This is a road that's been around for 160 years, and was probably a route before it was surveyed of local First Nations. I think that it's just been a road for a very, very long time, and this is before Highway 3. This was the highway. Recreation site. You can cool your feet, cool your toes in the river. So many places to visit, so little time. I always seem to be seeing these places when I'm rushing someplace else. Although I've got to look on the bright side, because as a kid, Princeton would always be someplace we just sort of whip through on our way somewhere else. When I would go on holidays with my parents, camping holidays, we just go right past Princeton. It was maybe a place to stop and get gas, but we were pushing on. We would have eaten lunch in Hope. We'd push on to the Okanagan or the Kootenays, wherever we were going. And it's always a place we bypassed, and what a shame that was. Because it's interesting all in itself. It's not just a junction of rivers. It's got a lot of interesting history, from gold mining to prospecting. Last year, the municipality officially reopened the Hudson's Bay Trail that goes from Princeton to Hope as a hiking trail, horseback riding trail, and that was met with a lot of excitement. That's something I think would be really cool to do one day, to walk. I wonder how many days that would take. It just keeps going and going. It's great. Oh, cattle guard coming up. Ooh. And probably best to take it at speed. Oh, there it is. Whoop. Oh, I think I'm coming up on it. Stop sign. Yeah, this would be it. The end of the Old Hedley Road riding experience.